welcome to Foxon Media Digital. My name's Amy. Today I'm joined by Mahesh Narayan, who is Institutional Asset Management Segment Head at Arcesium. So welcome, Mahesh. It's great to have you on the channel.
Hi, Amy. Great to chat with you and appreciate the invite.
Yeah, you're very welcome. And of course, you're taking part in our event. So we wanted to have a little spotlight on you and catch up about your role and about what Arcesium's doing. So just before we dive into some of the deeper trends, could you tell me a little bit about the key challenges facing the buy side in terms of operations, data, and technology at the moment?
Great question, right? I mean, this is exactly what asset managers and sort of the leads within the firms are working on, right? Operations, data, and tech. They face a number of challenges. Um, but the number one challenge that they seem to be facing today is around legacy operational platforms, right? And how many of these legacy operational platforms, they're simply unable to support sort of the emerging business needs of the asset manager, right? So we speak to asset managers every day, from the small ones to the mid-sized ones, to the large ones who are like 100 billion AUM and above, right? But the challenges they all face, it sort of cuts across them, right? It's around these legacy operational platforms. And as you know, asset manager business needs are changing quite rapidly, right? They need to support new asset classes. They need to structure new products. They need to integrate with new data partners, right? They need to manage risk and performance more efficiently, right? Um, it's an interesting fact, right? I don't know if you knew that, look, 40% of enterprise data management platforms within asset managers are still considered legacy, right? These were platforms which they sort of brought in sometimes 5, 10, maybe sometimes 20 years ago, right? And they've been there for many years. They are on premise, they're old. They do the job, right? But they don't support sort of the future needs, right? And it's a similar metric for for the mid and the back office overall, right? It's a fairly similar metric. What you have is front office platforms have been they've invested in front office platforms, right? But they haven't invested enough in the mid office, right, and the back office. So in almost every situation, just to summarize, like the asset manager has a portfolio of legacy platforms, right? And they're patched together in some form. They do the work, right? But they're just incapable of supporting future needs.
No, that's really interesting. And I had no idea that it was 40%. We often see a lot of investment managers struggling with updating their infrastructure, but I didn't realize it was that amount. So that's really good to know. And in light of this, then, as we see the evolution of the industry and as they, gradually revamp their legacy systems and migrate to the cloud and everything and move away from on-prem, what will this look like? And can you speak to some of the future needs that will arise as part of this migration?
Absolutely. Look, there's obviously technology and the operational needs are driving some of these changes, but at the end of the day, it's the business, right? It's the business needs and what sort of the emerging needs are for the business that are driving these changes, sort of forcing the move, like you rightly captured, going from legacy to cloud native sort of platforms, right? So what are the challenges here? I mean, what are the needs here, right? Asset class support is is uh, is usually seen as the number one need. Most asset managers are expanding their asset classes from equities and fixed income to sort of private assets, right? Real estate, infrastructure, private debt, and so on, right? So, are these systems now able to support them in that move towards private and sort of other asset classes, right? Workflows are becoming much more complex, right? And we're talking about sort of operational post-trade workflows, right? When you have a new asset class, your workflow changes, right? Your data needs change. And outside of that, as we all know, like there's data coming in from many more sources now, right? And you're connecting with more data partners and you're connecting with more sort of custodians and so on. So the workflows are much more complex, right? And sort of businesses are saying, hey, data tech teams, operational teams, you need to support my complex workflows, right? Analytics and reporting is becoming far more complex, right? And it's becoming more ad hoc and more customized. It needs to be more scalable. It needs to be more personalized, right? Every asset manager is trying to sort of personalize the reporting they offer to their clients, right? To their end clients. It could be a portal, or it could be just reports, right? Or it could be some other form of analytics, right? But it's becoming just more detailed, more personalized, and more ad hoc, right? The data management needs are changing, right? I mean, with any of these sort of new asset classes, the new products being created, there's more data management, right? Let's not forget, the need to lower TCO. Asset managers are, when I say TCO, we're talking about total cost of ownership, right? Asset managers have always been under pressure to lower costs, right? And it's never changed. It's always been among the top priorities for asset managers. That continues to be the case. And lastly, like you said, this migration to the cloud, right? When 40% of your operational platforms are still legacy, right? And you see the benefits of the cloud in TCO and so on, you are going to migrate to the cloud, right? So these are sort of the business needs. It's not technology driven at all. It's the business, right? Which is saying, look, I need you to support me for my new products, for my new regions, for my new asset classes. Be more agile.
In light of all of those business needs, then, how does your company help asset managers overcome these challenges?
Great question. So, Amy, at Arcesium, we are a financial technology firm. We offer a cloud-native SaaS platform to help asset managers automate their entire post-investment lifecycle, right? We talked about all these challenges. Essentially, what our platform does is address these challenges and offer a single unified platform, right? We are a unified platform. We're not a bunch of products just tied together. Our platform is cloud native, which means it comes with a host of cloud native benefits, right? A lot of which we've already talked about. Lower TCO, scalability, agility, right? We hosted on AWS, and we built using a number of open source technologies, right? From a functional perspective, right, we are a full mid to back office platform, right? We can handle asset classes and portfolio complexity. We can handle all the complex operational workflows. We integrate with a number of third-party platforms. We have a number of self-service tools, right? And we can scale, right? So most of our clients are large asset managers, hedge funds, private equity firms. And what we do is our platform replaces these legacy technologies that we talked about, right? In most cases, we replace 3, 4, 5 platforms with just one solution, right? More recently, we're seeing a lot of interest from asset managers regarding modern financial data platforms, right? Not just the operational platform, but the underlying data platform. And here we solve the challenges of data aggregation, data integration, analytics, reportings, and just being more agile in terms of how you bring together data and sort of master data within the firm.
No, that's fantastic. And yeah, in light of all this, then, you've kind of highlighted the problems, you've looked at how your solutions can help solve these. So, what do we see from the future? Do we think that companies will pick up speed and adopt these solutions quick enough, or do you think they're a bit slow to the mark?
Yeah, so it's going to be a cycle, right? What you're seeing is you are going to see this 2 or 3 year cycle where asset managers will sort of see the benefits of migrating off these legacy platforms to modern platforms, right? And the benefits they bring, right? And you're seeing that, right? And speaking to sort of our pipeline and what we see, like we're seeing sort of more asset managers understanding the value that these new platforms bring to their ecosystem, right? So we think next year is going to be a big year in terms of asset managers really accelerating their move to some of these cloud platforms.
That's great. And say I'm an asset manager and I've decided to take that plunge, and I've moved away from my legacy systems. I've gone for one unified platform, so everything's in one place. What does that look like on the ground? What does that mean? How do you get the data in front of them to drive the operations?
Great question again. Look, yeah, data is key to supporting operations, right? A couple aspects here, right? First of all, our platform, right, comes with out of the box with over 200 connections to third-party firms, to data vendors, to fund admins, right? This is day one, right, out of the box, right? So a solution, and that's what asset managers need. You need to check that box that you have these connectors out of the box, right? Um, but the other aspect is, look, data needs change. New data sets keep getting added almost sometimes on a daily basis, right? New vendors get added. And this is where legacy data platforms and legacy operational platforms have had a challenge, right? It, we've heard and we've seen, like, it takes months sometimes for some of these legacy platforms to add a new data set. Sometimes a year to add a new vendor, right? In our case, look, our self-service tools allow the client, the user, to add a new data set or a new vendor in fairly fast order, right? And our clients tell us that that's a huge value add. So hopefully that answers your question. Look, a lot of the out-of-the-box connectors that come with the platform, the ability to add, adjust the data feeds, right? And those are important, right? And those will actually, create the business case in some sense for firms to migrate out these legacy platforms.
Yeah, absolutely. And closing thoughts then, because you've given us a great overview of how your solutions work and what kind of technology there is and how it can solve those problems. So, what is your focus next to help firms scale their businesses and grow AUM? What's next for you, and what are your kind of coming goals based on where the industry's headed?
Yeah, so look, our ultimate objective as Arcesium is to help our clients grow their businesses, right? That's how we sort of that's our ambition, and that's our focus, right? So there's a couple ways we help them, right? New strategies, right? We help asset managers through our platforms, right? Launch custom strategies, portfolios, right? And we've been very successful at that. Support for new asset classes, right? We talked about privates, we talked about alternatives, right? We are one of the few vendors that can support public investments, hedge funds, and private markets, right, on the same platform, right? New businesses, right? And as an example, I would say multi-manager platforms, right? We've successfully helped two very large asset managers really operationalize their new sort of multi-manager platforms within the firm, right? And you're seeing a lot of asset managers do that. And lastly, look, we also help firms scale internally. That's equally important, right? It's not we obviously help them scale their business overall, but it's also equally important that we help them be more productive and scale internally, right? And what are we talking about here? We're talking about internal tech teams, internal data teams, operational teams. So here we help them with their key workflows and use cases, right? It could range from reporting and analytics. It could be treasury, cash management. It could be reconciliations, or it could be master data management, or it could be a combination of everything, right? The whole end-to-end workflow. So that's how we help scale our clients and their businesses externally and internally.
Amazing. Well, I'm afraid that's all we've got time for, but you will, of course, be at the Summit for Asset Management New York in October, so everyone can meet the team in person, find out a bit more about this and what's happening in the next year. So thanks so much for joining us on this channel, Mahesh. It's been great having you.
Awesome. Look forward to the event. I'm sure it's going to be a huge success.
And thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to follow our YouTube channel for more content on challenges and opportunities in asset management, wealth management, and ESG. And don't forget to give this interview a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button.